Welcome back, viewers at home. You're still tuned in right here on INX Prime Channel 345. Joining me this evening, I am joined by Sheila Monkie Thando Maumela, who is a multifaceted entrepreneur, philanthropist, and wellness advocate. Now, she has made big strides in both business as well as community service. As the founder and CEO of Mukoni Foundation, Sheila has dedicated herself to empowering abused women, children, and ex-convicts by providing them with life skills and employment opportunities. Now, the crown jewel of her community efforts is none other than the Soweto Home of the Aged, where she leads initiative focused on improving the lives of the elderly. Today, we delve into her inspiring journey and her impactful work at the Soweto Home for the Aged, as well as her foundation. Good evening, Thando, and welcome to INX Prime.
Hey, thank you, Mamuna, for inviting me. Really appreciate it.
Now, our conversation today, it will literally look at the work that you do at the home as well as your foundation. But I'd like for us to start at the home. I want to know what drove you to now say, I'm going to, spend my time here, spend my skill set here, and empower what we can say are mostly forgotten at times in communities, the elderly.
So I grew up without a granny. Both maternal and paternal, they passed on while they were young and I was young. So I would say also my mom missed out on an opportunity on having an elderly person because she passed on. The mother passed on when she was really still young. I think my grandmother passed on at 62 years old. So it crushed my mom so bad. So growing up, she used to really buy, those marshmallows. On Mother's Day, she would drop them off at different homes where there's a grandmother and stockings. You know how grannies love stockings for Sundays. So it used to be like a tradition of hers to drop off stockings that are styled, not just normal stockings, but that are styled. And grannies used to appreciate so much. And they'd talk about that and say, oh, mama ngithengele lama stockings ngifuna uwagqoke enkonzweni or at a conference or whatever. And I never understood why she made such a fuss about Mother's Day. Should have literally packs and packs of sweets and chocolates to give to grannies and these stockings. And I realized she missed her mom. And I then realized through my friends that missing a granny is a big thing, just the spoils and just the opportunity to engage and get wisdom. And that motivated me. When my mom passed on in 2015, I then thought to myself, what is it that I can do each year to remember her? I took time to accept my mother's death. So each year for me to get strength, I had to do something. So one of the things that I resonate with that warms my heart when I think about her is her love for the elderly. So because in my street where I grew up, the elderly people really, I think we are left with about 3 now. Most of them have passed on. So I had to look for places where I can actually warm my heart up and remember Mama in a happy way.
This is a lovely way of, starting a legacy or continuing something that, she never probably done it to say this will be my legacy, but here you are continuing it. And one thing I can say about the elderly, they are quite appreciative, You can do something so little like buying, a sweet, and the way they will go on about it is like you spend millions on them. I'm sure that must be something fulfilling for you.
It is. The first project I did was a blanket drive, and basically bought them pajamas and blankets and not stockings, but socks and slippers. So for all them kulus and the grannies there at the Mufulo Home for the Aged, and they really loved. They do not understand why would someone just randomly decide to come and gift us. But I realized some of them actually don't have family here. Some of them have family, but family is far. Like you live in Cape Town and your you're responsible for your grand. You can only come once in a while. So an opportunity to come and sing with them. They love singing. They love hymns. To sing with them and share the word of God also. And just enjoy, some time with them. And there's so much that you'd gain out of the little conversations that you'd have with them. So for me, it makes a whole lot of difference. And I was hoping that my children also, they still have a granny from their dad's side because my mom has passed on, but their grandfather has passed on. I've also just taken the time to take them to the graves, just for them to see that, look, they ask all the time, where's your mom? And I say, I don't have. But you are never an orphan when you're on this earth, because every mom there is, Mamuna is your mom. As long as she's there, actually show up and respect her, and give her the respect she deserves. So it's about principle, man, and the values that one grew up with. So with grannies, I don't think with us as young people, right? There's never an issue of competing. You are always getting blessings when you're doing.
Yes.
And you'd say, look, I have a business, this is what I'm doing for a living, and on the other side I've got an arm for this charity work.
Yeah.
So obviously Granny would like to know, what kind of business do you do?
Yeah.
So I would say, I'm running Virtual Sindoni Lodge. It's in Midrand. It's a multifunctional space where people come and enjoy. It's a resort.
Yeah.
People come and enjoy and have some time there. I'll take you. Then I'll take you, and make time for them to have a spa, which is one other thing that when you talk about it's spring. Wow. I'm hoping to get the grannies coming into my multifunctional venue for them to just, have bashayo moya and actually scrub their feet, and we have, some Q-Tex by Tanda, nail polish.
They like staying up to date.
They love staying up to date. So I would really love for women who are available to come and volunteer to scrub grannies, and of course bring your granny if she's still alive, and we have some fun with them.
Now, we know that, seeing the work that you're doing at the home, I want to ask from you, what would you say are some of the challenges that you have encountered, and how do you then go about addressing it? And I mean, I think from you speaking, I could pick out some of the highlights that, you find quite rewarding in doing the work that you're doing at the Mfulo Aged for the Home for the Aged. What would you say, just to verbalize it, is something that really gives you that fulfillment, that reward, without you being compensated for doing what you're doing?
I tell you what, taking time to go and give someone who does not have family an enjoyment of having a conversation. Sometimes they just want a conversation outside of just what they have on a daily basis.
Yeah.
The home is very clean. The home is giving them food. They take them from they contribute through their grant, the government grant. But there's just something unique when you come in and say, look, I've got sweets, I've got something for you. Because there's also certain boundaries that have set as a home. You can't bring in food that's ready from outside because of the different dietary programs that are set for different ones. But they do allow you to bring sweets because, they're like kids. They want to be spoiled often.
And they're high blood. Sometimes their sugar needs them to have a little nibble here and there.
What gives me the most fulfillment, I would never leave the Mfulo Home for the Aged without being prayed for. Without being prayed for, I'm telling you. And they voluntarily do it. Let's pray for you. And I believe that I'm where I am today because of their contribution in terms of prayer. Wow. So many challenges that I've faced, but I can tell you that I'm standing because someone has got my back.
I mean, you're armored with so much prayer. Like, why not?
Someone has got my back.
So now coming back to your foundation, Mukoni Foundation, can you just tell us a bit about your foundation? I believe it assists women, children, ex-convicts, and if I can just go back to the women that are abused, actually. Can you tell us a bit about your foundation, as well as what is its core vision, as well as what drives its mission?
So Mukoni Foundation was founded after my daughter, the youngest. She's Mukoni. That's her second name. So all my daughters have 3 names like I do. Okay. The name means the God who can, who is able, the one who makes you able to do things. So I thought to myself, look, if we are wanting to contribute towards society, it should be things that they need, right? And with the GBV rife, and with my mom having experienced 2 marriages that were also not so nice, I've experienced both sides of a beautiful marriage and a bad side of marriage through my mom's marriage, especially the second one, because my biological dad passed on when I was younger, and then I was raised by a stepdad. Stepdad was lovely. I don't have any bad thing to say about me and stepdad. He's, in fact, I thank God that he took me in with my mom to be where I am. I believe the journey actually was rooted through him. But of course, through elders go through their own rough patches and things turned bad. So I could see that GBV is something that has been happening a long time ago, but unlike the Gen Z, people do not stand up. They used to not stand up like they do now. Begezela back then. Now people are able to come out and say, I'm not comfortable, and I thought, how can we support the people? My core thing about the programs that are supporting women that abuse is trying to help them to understand that you're not to blame, but you also have a contribution towards the decisions that you've made. As soon as you've got the ability to accept some of the contributions you've made, your healing journey would start. And how you view the counterpart would be different, in the sense that you'd forgive quite early than keep grudges, bitterness, and sadness over the years, not knowing that actually some of the decisions, actually, I've made them myself. So I'm not here to sit and say, look, wherever you are, uzfagile kule yonto.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is, some of the things that we find ourselves as women, we need to reflect and look into how the toxicity came into my life, and then reflect on what is it that I did as well to actually contribute to the situation, like not making a decision quite early to leave.
Yeah.
It's a contribution. Do you understand? And my mom was one of those women who stayed longer when in a place that she's not needed. Do you understand? And at some point, I remember going to a psychologist. It was a family session, and the psychologist is saying, your mom is actually your dad has filed for divorce, so they're leaving. And I was like, it took long.
Wow.
And I was like 13 at the time. I was like, it took long. Why were you staying for so long? Because dad had changed for some time. And she was shocked.
Yeah.
Because she thought she's staying for me. So some of the programs that I run really is to just say, look, one of the things that you need to do is forgive yourself. And understand that some things may not work out the way you had dreamt or the way you had envisioned. But not all is lost. And there's no love lost between you and God. Remember. And one of the things that would help you heal in the journey is forgiving self and understanding that there's people who are looking up to you, like us as your children. We need you. Really, Mamuna, if I can tell you, my mom should have passed on a long time ago than 2015. Do you understand? She had to keep on going because of me and my siblings.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But in her keeping on, she also stayed for abuse unnecessarily.
Yeah.
So we still lose you while you're present as our mom.
Oof.
Why? Because you're hurting. Half the time you're sad.
You're basically
What is
finding
this?
the broken part
Yes.
of your beautiful mom.
Exactly. So this is what motivated Mukoni Foundation to actually say, let's contribute towards the women that are ex-convicts who are blaming themselves where they are, whether murdered, stole, and. What would need to happen is that you need to understand you are taking responsibility now. You are inside, incarcerated. When you come out, what is it that you're going to do?
Yes.
To make a difference. And it's not about me believing you and your change when I'm outside. It's really about the principle of character that is building as a person. What is it that you would like for us to know you for? As much as, social media speaks, society would speak, time. When they say time heals, I always say time convicts.
Yeah. Thando, I think we could go on and on just talking about the beautiful insights to the work that you do with the people that you interact with. Because I think one thing that you said, and I think a lot of times we think about it in the confinements of our homes, but we're not too bold enough to say it in public, to say, do we actually ask ourselves our contribution to that very abusive relationship? And that is something that I'm taking with me, and I'm hoping viewers at home also will really hold dearly to, in understanding and really trying to introspect in terms of, digesting this question. Now, unfortunately, we have run out of time, but I'd like to say if there's anything you'd like to share in closing maybe for our viewers at home or just in general.
Look, in this time that we live in, I think every woman has an opportunity to build themselves and do things differently. Like I said, I am in multiple businesses. Do you understand? Even in the business that I'm working on, like Virtual Sindoni Lodge, for example, it's a space of leisure. It's a space of relaxation. Self-care means you taking yourself out just once, deciding that I'll choose me today and I'll come to a resort and actually relax, get into water, sip and paint, whatever. Enjoy yourself in the moment and be present in the moment for those who love you. Be present in the moment for self and those who love you. And at times, setting boundaries is not such a bad idea. Set those boundaries. It's for yourself. And it's not about male counterparts only, even friendships, guys. There's friendships that you need to get rid of. So I'm hoping that women get to a point, or rather just generally even males, get to a point where they choose themselves. Well, males do it better than us. But I'm hoping that really women take some time to look out for excursions that they could do. Self-care is part of helping yourself mentally, emotionally, and otherwise. Actually, you find yourself thinking better and reasoning better and actually contributing to the lives of those who are around you just by being a living testimony through the lifestyle that you've chosen. So I'm hoping that from today, whoever's listening to me and watching me at home really find the comfort that it's all up to you.
Thando, thank you so much, and may God continue blessing you in your efforts as well as your endeavors. I mean, what you're doing for the elderly, what you're doing in your own businesses, and, you know, the wisdom and the insight that you keep sharing with us and with individuals that you interact with. We say God continue blessing you, and we're wishing you nothing short of the best.
Shalom.
Viewers at home, that was my guest Thando, sharing in her beautiful work that she does in terms of visiting the home with the goodies that they love. I mean, the pajamas, the sweets. That is something that I really I enjoyed. And I think it's something that taking away from her is that surrounding yourself with elderly, it's you leaving that space with a bundle of prayers and good wish from them. But viewers at home, unfortunately, time is a thief of good moments. We have to close our conversation here.